I think today's the day I make it run. I still need to put the oil filler cap assembly on there. I have not put fluids in it yet. It has some oil in it. It had enough oil in it to prime it. And I probably got about 3 or 4 quarts in it. So I need to top off the engine oil, transmission fluid, power steering. Everything needs fluid. Otherwise, things ready to go. I'm going to start putting... actually, I think before I do all that and get carried away putting fluids in it, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the battery. I say we go ahead and hook up the battery and play with the electrical. Make sure the electrical is all going to work. Make sure the computer turns on. Make sure it talks. Make sure the data looks right. That kind of thing. I think that's what I'll do now. I'm not going to tighten them yet. I'm not going to tighten them until I'm ready to start it. So I'm going to take the fuel pump fuse out because I don't want, there's no gas in the tank, and I don't want the fuel pump to be running with no gas in the tank. I think I'm going to take the start relay out too. I don't want to crank it yet. I want to make sure that the relay clicks and does what it's supposed to. Alright, I guess let's turn the key on and see what happens. Alright, so far it's looking pretty good. Let's turn the key on. Alright, let's turn the key on and see what happens. Normal. Normal. Alright, looks normal. See any smoke anywhere? None of the fuses popped. Now see if the starter relay clicks when I turn the key. Yep. Okay. Alright, well, let's hook up the scanner and see what it does. It's talking. Let's see. Intake air temperature 86, that's about right. Alright, well, our computer's up and going. Function test. Will this give me a fuel pump? Yeah, fuel pump on off command. Let's see if we can make the relay click. Yep. The computer has control over the fuel pump. That's a good sign. Okay. Now our gauges are looking good. 0 oil pressure. It's pretty much looking good. Now I've already set, there's a set of dip switches on the back of the gauge where you set it for different fuel level sender resistance values. It had a list. I went off of the list and clicked on Ford after a certain year. So I guess I guess that's a good sign. The computer comes on, the relays click, it has control over the fuel pump, so that's all looking good. Okay, I guess I'm gonna put some fuel in the tank. Got 6 gallons of fresh gas right here. Go ahead and put some gas in it. Alright. Wasn't so bad. Okay, 6 gallons of fresh gas. Put that fuel pump relay fuse back in. Alright, I got the fuel pump fuse back in. Computer's talking, the gauges are working. Let's turn this on and see if I hear the fuel pump. Not sure if I heard. Let's check gas. Gas gauge should go up. Alright, gas gauge is working. Cool. Battery volts. Okay, I did not hear. I think I heard the fuel pump. Let me try it again. Oh yeah, I heard it that time. Check for leaks. Leaks down here, I don't see anything. Cycle it a couple more times. Yep. It's working. Don't see any puddles. See any leaks. Alright, I guess it's time to put fluid in it. I realized I completely forgot about the vent hose here. Guess I'm gonna hook it up to right there with the little elbow that was in it, wherever it went. What did I do with it? Uh-oh. I just had it. Okay, maybe I won't use that piece since I just managed to lose it. Alright, I hope the cooler's not too loud, but it's getting warm, so I turned the cooler on. Alright, I got the power steering. I think the power steering's pretty good. I jacked it up, turned the wheels back and forth quite a bit. Level dropped, so we'll see what happens when I fire it up. Oil's topped off. I forgot I had to put the breather hose in, so I did that real quick. 6 quarts of fluid in the transmission. I don't have any coolant in it yet. I can't run it very long. I need to start it. If it starts, I'm only going to run it for about 5 seconds maybe. Start it up, let it run for a couple seconds. I'm going to shut it off, and then I need to put more fluid in the transmission. Okay, here it goes. Haven't run it yet. Kind of nervous to turn the key and see what happens, but looked it all over. Oh, I need to tighten the battery cables. All right. Okay, it's all plugged in. Put coolant in it after I'm ready to let it run for a minute. This is going to be cycle the power steering fluid real quick and cycle the fluid out of the transmission pan and start filling that torque converter up. So here we go. Here goes. Key on. Gauges work. Alright, here we go. That's probably longer than I should have let it run. Let's get this fluid in the transmission. Okay, I'm up to 10 quarts in the transmission. I'm gonna fire it up again. I wanna check. Okay, well, so it looks like it had oil pressure. The oil pressure gauge is still reading. I turn the key on, it's probably gonna power up and go down. Okay, so I had 50 psi oil pressure when I shut it off. That's a good sign. It was misfiring. I've checked all the fluids, added more to the transmission. I'm gonna fire it up again for a second and see how it runs. Still misfiring for some reason. Might have a sticky injector from it sitting. I drained the fuel out of the rail, but it's probably, it ran fine when I ran it last. So, well, I guess I can put. Not sure what this belt chirping noise is. All the pulleys are new. I think they were all new. I think I put all new idler pulleys on it. The only thing that's not new is the alternator and the AC compressor. Huh. Alright, I'm gonna put some coolant in it so I can let it run a little bit. Gotta figure out why it's misfiring. Alright, I got her all full of coolant. I jacked it up in the rear, got the back tires off the ground. I'm not ready to drive it yet, but I want to make sure the fluid circulates in the transmission before I let this thing sit here and idle for very long. So, I'm going to go ahead and put it in neutral. Fire it up one more time. Moving pretty good. It feels like it's coming around. It's still got a miss. It's getting better though. It's a lot better. Still got a little bit of a shake. Two's not working. Three ain't working. Four's working. number 2 and 3 are not doing anything. Wonder what that's all about. We're on 2 different coil packs, so I doubt it's that. So this is 2 and this is 3. So yeah, both of those 2 not running at all. Okay, so just like I suspected, first thing I did was went right to the fuel injectors. I started it up again, unplugged it, and made sure. I went ahead and plugged the spark tester onto the spark plug wire, and it had spark. Like I said, this thing ran fine before everything sat here for it's almost 2 years now. So first thing, fuel pressure tester is hooked up, holding pressure. The fuel injector down here, you can see I have my red jumper lead hooked up. That is hooked up to the ground side that goes to the computer. Now I have my test light, so this is hooked up to the negative side of that fuel injector. When I ground this, it should make the gauge move. I'm going to do that again with my test light. You can see my test light is hooked up to there. When I ground it, my test light goes away. So I'm triggering that injector and it's not moving any fuel. So it was pretty much just as I suspected. I got stuck fuel injector, at least 2 of them. Alright, well, it's not the results I was hoping for today, but on the good news is it starts, it runs, everything seems to be working pretty good. I had a little belt chirp right off the bat, but that seems to have stopped. I'm not sure where it was coming from. Anyway, oil pressure is good, gas gauge is working, all the gauges, all the wiring, everything seems to be functioning just fine. The power steering, I turned the wheel a little bit just to make sure it had assist, but I was been so focused on the misfire, why it was missing, I haven't really done much with it. It's only idled for about maybe 2 minutes total. I verified the fuel injector on number 2 cylinder is not moving any fuel. That could be from sitting. That they did sit in the rail. The fuel rail may have had a little bit of fuel in it. I tried to drain it all out, but I don't know. Maybe it sat and had a piece of maybe it had some fuel in the top of those 2 injectors that just decided to clog them up. I don't know. But either way, it looks like I'll be looking for some injectors in the morning. It's looking pretty good. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.